I heard the pipes behind the kitchen and a car turned down the lane. The walls were still a shade of silver from the night and early rain. My sweater waited on the chair back, a book lay open by the bed. I stayed beneath the covers listening to the quiet overhead. The sun came in without a sound. It crossed the rug and climbed the wall. It never asked me to get moving. It only changed the room at all. For a minute, nothing mattered past the warmth against my skin. The day had found its own beginning and gently let me in. I carried breakfast to the window, watched the road begin to shine. A woman walked beneath an umbrella, though the weather had turned fine. Two sparrows landed on the gutter, then disappeared above the trees. The coffee cooled beside my elbow while light moved slowly through the leaves. Some mornings arrive like questions, some pull the blankets from the day. But this one waited in the doorway and gave me time to find my way. Table and the street is waking too. I don't need a brighter answer than this simple, quiet view. I'll leave the morning as it found me, unhurried, open, standing still, with enough light in the room now to begin whenever I will.
There's a line of gold across the table. Coffee steam is drifting through the room. The window's open just enough to let the quiet morning through. I was carrying too much yesterday. Every thought was running out of time. But the birds above the rooftops make the whole street feel alive. Give me a little more sunshine, a little more air in my lungs, a road with no need for rushing, a simple song on my tongue. I don't need every answer, I don't need a perfect sign. Just leave the curtains open give me a little more sunshine. There are wildflowers by the fence line, still shining from the rain. A bicycle leans beside the bakery, and someone waves from down the lane. I take the longer road this morning, with the windows halfway down. The fields are turning brighter as the shadows leave the town. Give me a little more sunshine, a little more room to believe, a porch, a breeze, a quiet moment, and know where I have to be. I don't need every answer, I can let the whole day shine. Just keep the morning moving with a little more sunshine. Maybe happiness is smaller than the things I used to chase. Maybe it is warm light falling on an ordinary place. And maybe starting over doesn't have to make a sound. Sometimes all it takes is noticing the good that's already around. Give me a little more sunshine, a little more sky through the trees, a day that opens slowly and carries me where I need. I don't need every answer, I have time enough to find a quieter kind of happiness in a little more sunshine. The kettle clicks off in the kitchen. Rain is resting on the glass. A book lies open on the table where I left it late last night.
There is sunlight through the gray clouds, just enough to warm the room. Nothing here is asking questions, nothing needs to happen soon.
Happiness, the sort that does not need a name. The chair beside an open window, the morning moving without haste. No bright announcement, no occasion, no perfect moment I could miss. Just time enough to notice a quiet kind of happiness.
I walk beyond the row of houses, past the garden after rain. Someone sweeps the steps outside the bakery. A bicycle turns into the lane.
There are sparrows on the telephone wire,
and wet leaves shining by the wall. I buy some bread and keep on walking, with nowhere else to be at all. It is a quiet kind of happiness, a warmth that settles without sound. The scent of bread inside a paper bag. My footsteps steady on the ground. I do not need the day to promise that everything will turn out right. For now the road is calm before me, and the clouds are growing light. I used to wait for joy to find me in some distant brighter place. Now I see it in the ordinary, in a familiar street and face. Maybe peace was never hiding. Maybe I was moving fast. Now I let the smallest moments take their time before they pass. This is a quiet kind of happiness, and I will carry it along. The rain's still shining on the pavement, the morning finding its own song. I do not need a grand beginning, or every worry put to rest. Sometimes a simple day unfolding is already more than enough.
Coffee by the window, steam against the morning glass.
The street is moving slowly, like it knows there's time to pass.
Your note is near the sugar, folded twice and written small.
It says don't rush the daylight, you don't have to hold it all. So I sit here with the sunrise, let the silence settle in. The world can wait beyond the door, while this quiet day begins. Nothing asking for an answer, nothing pulling me away. Just coffee by the window and a melon to stay. A bicycle rolls past the corner, someone lifts the bakery shade.
There are sparrows on the wire, and fresh rain along the lane.
The cup is getting cooler, but the light is growing warm. I watch the shadows leave the rooftops without needing somewhere more. So I stay here with the sunrise, let the morning find its pace. There is comfort in the stillness, there is kindness in this place. I don't need to chase the hours or decide what comes my way. is not a journey to a distant, quieter town. Maybe it is sunlight falling on the things already around. Maybe starting fresh is simple, just a chair and open view, a warm cup held between my hands, and one slow breath or two. Now eyes with the sunrise, but I carry what I found, a slower heart, a clearer mind, and both feet on the ground. Let the road unfold before me, I don't need to know the way. That quiet by the window will be with me through the day.
The road is pale beneath the morning, fields awaken one by one. There's a jacket on the back seat and a thermos warmed by sun.
I left the town before the traffic, before the shops had raised their signs. Now the fences drift beside me like a slow and steady line.
I'll follow the open sky,
Let the day decide the way.
Every hill becomes a question
I don't need to solve today.
I can leave the map half folded,
Let the morning pass me by.
there is room to keep on moving
When I follow the open sky.
There's a roadside stand near Cedar, fresh bread cooling by the door. An old man points toward the river, says the bridge is open once more.
I take the turn beside the orchard, where the branches cross the lane. Sunlight flickers on the windshield, and the hills still hold the rain.
I'll follow the open sky,
Where the quiet miles unfold, past the barns and leaning mailboxes, past the fields of green and gold. I don't need to name the ending, I can let the hours pass by. There is peace in not deciding when I follow the open sky.
I used to think the right direction had to come with certainty. Now I trust the road beneath me and the places I can't see.
Maybe freedom is not leaving, everything I've known behind. Maybe it is giving morning enough room to change my mind. I'll follow the open sky, let it lead me past the blue. Every mile becomes a memory, every turn reveals a view. I may find my way back homeward, I may drive until twilight. For now the whole road feels like freedom under one unending sky. The rain has left the pavement shining, there are silver lines beneath my feet. A bakery is opening its windows, warm air drifting down the street. I have spent too many mornings trying to read what lies ahead. Today I leave the questions quiet and take the longer road instead. Good things are coming, I can feel them in the air. Not like thunder distance, more like sunlight on the stairs. But I don't need to see the ending to believe the road is kind. Something warm is moving closer, one small moment at a time. There are wildflowers near the crossing, a red truck turning by the hill. Someone leaves a handwritten message on the cafe windowsill. It says, take heart, the day is wider than the worry in your head. I smile and keep the paper with me, folded where the map was spread. Good things are coming, maybe quietly, maybe slow, in the people that remember, in the places left to go. I don't need a perfect answer or a bright and certain sign. There is hope in simply moving one small moment at a time. Tomorrow had to change my life at once. Now I notice open windows, morning songs and warming cups. Maybe better days begin here, not beyond some distant line. In the courage to keep walking with an open heart and mind. Good things are coming, and some are already here. In the road beneath the tires, in the sky becoming clear. I may never know the time, but I'm learning to be fine with the promise in the morning and this hopeful state of mind. The morning leaves a line of silver
on the glass beside the sink. Coffee waits beside the window, giving me a little time to think. There is dust inside the sunlight. There are footsteps in the hall. Nothing says I need to hurry. Nothing asks me to know it all. Let the day unfold without pulling at the seams. Let the road reveal its corners. Let the hours find their speed. I don't need to hold the future or decide where this will go. I can open up the window and let the day unfold. Take the path beyond the houses, where the hedges meet the lane. There are bicycles by the bakery and small pools left by the rain. A distant train moves through the valley. Someone waves across the street. The town is waking without effort, and I fall into its easy beat. Let the day unfold past the fields and painted doors. Let the quiet turn to laughter. Let the light move through the floor. I don't need a perfect answer or a map of every road. There is peace in moving forward while the day begins to show.
I used to fill the empty spaces with the things I had to do. Now I hear the wind in branches and the sound of passing shoes. Maybe life feels lighter when I leave a little room for a change I never planned for a flower still in bloom. Let the day unfold with its sunlight and its rain. Let it bring me somewhere different. Let it bring me home again. I don't need to hold the future. I can trust the road I know with a little space around me. I will let the day unfold. Meet me where the porch light fades. The morning reaches through the trees. I'll bring the coffee from the kitchen. You bring that old blue sweater, please.
The road is quiet past the mailbox. The silver dew along the ground. We don't have to plan the whole day. We can follow what we find around. Meet me in the morning
Before the town begins to move. We'll take the path behind the orchard, where the grass is wet with dew. No need to hurry toward an answer. No need to say where we have been. Just walk beside me through the sunlight. day begin.
There's a wooden bridge beyond the meadow, a faded sign beside the stream. You laugh about the time we missed it while following a painted railway beam.
We stop where wildflowers meet the fence line, your shadow leaning into mine. The sun climbs slowly past the hillside, and for once we do not check the time. Stay with me this morning while the fields turn green and gold. We'll leave the windows open wider and forget the plans we made before. No need to hurry toward an answer. There's nothing left to prove. Just keep beside me through the sunlight and let the quiet move. Maybe days like this are simple because we finally let them be. No crowded rooms or distant promises, only you walking next to me. When the road divides beyond the river, we can choose whichever way feels kind. I'm not asking for forever, only this unhurried stretch of time. Meet me in the morning when the first light fills the lane. We'll carry coffee past the orchard and listen to the waking rain. We may not know where this is going, but I know where I would rather be. Somewhere the whole day opens slowly, with you walking next to me. The dishes in the sink, the mail can wait another day. There's sunlight leaning through the curtains, drawing lines across the place. My shoes are somewhere by the doorway, my coat is hanging on the chair. I don't have anywhere important, and I'm glad to leave it there. Nothing heavy today, let the hours drift their way. No long list upon the table, no big plans I have to make. I'll take the road beside the river, let the window stay halfway. The world can keep on turning, nothing heavy today. There's a fruit stand near the crossing, someone's painting an old sign. A dog is sleeping on the porch steps like it has forgotten time. I buy 2 peaches and a paper, then leave the headlines folded tight. There are better things to notice, like the clouds becoming white. Nothing heavy today,
finally put it down. I know some days need answers, some roads ask us to be strong, but even hearts that keep on trying need a place to set things down. So I'll save the harder questions for a morning they belong. Right now the breeze is in the tall grass and the day is moving on. Nothing heavy today, just a little room and space, a quiet road, an open window, warm sun resting on my face. I'll bring home the peaches later, leave the worries where they lay. The world will still be waiting. Nothing heavy today.
Soft of guitar, gentle humming. I packed my dreams in an old blue bag, left before the morning came. There were roads I knew I had to take, though I could not name the place. I watched the fields turn gold and green through the window by my side. Every mile was teaching me I did not have to hide. Maybe I was never lost. Maybe I was learning how to go. I'll follow where the wild wind blows, past the rivers, past the stones. I don't need to know the ending, I just need a road to roam. And when the evening paints the sky, I'll let the quiet guide me home. Sometimes home is not a place, it's where the road feels like your own. I met a man beside a fire with silver running through his hair. He said the life you're looking for might already meet you there. So I stopped chasing distant lights and listened to the falling rain. There was beauty in the silence, there was meaning in the change. Maybe I was never late, maybe every turn was mine to take. I'll follow where the wild wind blows, past the rivers, past the stones. I don't need to know the ending, I just need a road to roam. And when the evening paints the sky, I'll let the quiet guide me home. Sometimes home is not a place, it's where the road feels like your own. If tomorrow brings another hill, I climb it slowly, breathing in. I've learned the journey is enough, I don't have to raise the wind. I'll follow where the warm wind blows through the places still unknown. Every step becomes a memory, every mile becomes my own. And when the stars begin to rise, I'll know I'm never far from home. Because home is in the heart that keeps on moving down the road. Guitar drums in, mattress folded on the passenger seat. The window lets the cool air in. Morning hangs above the fields and the wheels begin to spin. No traffic lights for miles ahead, no reason to arrive too soon. Just fence posts passing one by one beneath the pale and open blue. Today the road feels good, like it knows where I should go. Every turn is taking its time, every mile is moving slow. I can leave the noise behind me, let the morning set the pace. With the sunlight on the dashboard, there is nowhere else to chase. A wooden sign points toward the river, wildflowers lean along the lane. There is fresh mud near the crossing from a quiet night of rain. I stop beside a roadside market, buy an apple and some bread. An old song plays behind the counter and stays with me when I leave again. Today the road feels easy, nothing asking me to run. The hills keep opening before me, turning slowly toward the sun. I can let the hours find me, I don't need to choose a pace. With the whole sky in the windshield, there is room enough for grace. I used to count the distance by the places left to see. Now I count the quiet moments that make the day feel free. Maybe getting somewhere matters, but not more than being here. With a half-full cup beside me, and the morning bright and clear. Now every road feels easy when I give the day some room. I don't have to know the ending to enjoy the way it moves. Let the small towns pass behind me, let the open fields remain. I will follow where the light goes and take the long way home again. We woke before the neighborhood, while rooftops still were pale and blue. Your coffee rested by the window, mine was cooling next to you. The room was holding on to shadows, the curtains barely let them through. Then a line of gold crossed over and settled gently on your shoes.
not need a perfect view. The morning simply opened, and the sun found me with you. We took the path behind the house, past the garden after rain. There were puddles by the crossing, holding pieces of the day. You stopped beside a leaning fence post, where the wild grass met the road. Light moved softly through the branches, turning every leaf to gold. The sun found us halfway down that quiet lane. It followed through the orchard trees and stayed across the window pane. We did not need to name the feeling or decide what it might prove. The whole wide morning gathered in the space between our hands. I used to think the brightest moments would arrive with something grand. Now I know they enter slowly, like warm light across your hand. Maybe love is often quiet, maybe joy is easy too. A road still wet from evening rain, a little time in you. The sun found us and stayed longer than before. It filled the road across the fields, it followed us back through the door. We still don't know where days may lead us, but I know what carried through. A quiet morning turning golden, and all that light around you. The curtains move above the window. There is sunlight on the floor. Someone's laughing in the hallway, and the day is at the door. I can hear the kettle singing, I can smell the garden rain. All the worries from last evening do not feel as close today. Today will be beautiful, not because it all goes right, but because the road is open and the morning feels alive.
I will take the hours slowly, let the small things lead the way. There is something worth discovering
In the middle of today.
Oh, there are flowers by the bus stop, fresh bread cooling down the street. I yellow bicycle is leaning
where the old brick houses meet. I take the path beside the river with my jacket in my hand. A dog runs circles through the tall grass like the whole world understands. Today will be beautiful, even if the clouds remain. There is silver on the pavement, there is sweetness after rain.
I do not need a perfect answer or a reason I can't name.
There is enough light in the ordinary to make the whole day change.
I used to wait for better moments like they live somewhere else.
Now I find them in an open door, a kind word someone said. Maybe beauty is not distant, maybe it is past the hills through, in the breeze across the hillside, in the sky returning blue. Today is already beautiful, in the road beneath my feet, in the windows catching sunlight, in the people that I meet. I will let the hours surprise me, let them wander where they may. There is more than enough wonder waiting quietly in today.
Morning rest along the fence line, silver dew is on the gate. The road is empty past the farmhouse, and the hour is running late.
I can see the fields unfolding, soft and quiet after rain. Every shadow leaves the valley as the colored stars descend.
There is one light on the hill,
moving slowly through the green, turning roofs and distant windows into something soft and clean.
I don't need to know the reason why this morning feels so still. I can't let the whole day find me in the warm light on the hills. There's a narrow bridge by Hawthorne and a creek beneath the road. A red coat hangs beside a doorway, a small truck carries garden tools.
Someone waves from near the orchard. Someone opens up the store. I keep driving with the window halfway down and nothing more.
There is warm light on the hills, falling white across the lane,
Catching in the wet grass softly, drying yesterday's rain.
I don't need a distant answer or a map beyond the fields. There is more than enough beauty in the way this morning feels. I used to think the clearest moments waited somewhere far away. Now I find them in the quiet at the opening of day.
Maybe peace is simply noticing what the hurried hours conceal. Sun along an old stone wall and the road beneath the wheels.
Now the warm light on the hills follows me beyond the town.
Even when the road turns shaded, I can feel it all around.
I may not keep the whole day golden, but I know I always will carry something of this morning and its warm light on the hills.
Half together and watch the daylight find a way. A narrow line crossed through the bedroom, then widened where the shadows lay. The kettle waited in the kitchen. My coat was hanging by the door. I didn't reach for any answers or ask the hour to offer more. I let the day arrive gently, like air moving through the trees. No need to pull the morning closer, it could come when it was ready. Coffee to the garden, where small drops rested on the leaves. A newspaper lay by the gatepost, turning pages in the breeze. Beyond the fence, a bus moved slowly, then disappeared behind the hill. The world was starting without asking, and somehow I could stay still. be time for names and numbers, for every place I had to go. But first I listened to the sparrows and let the quiet set the flow. Day arrive gently and meet me somewhere in between the plans I thought I had to follow and all the space I hadn't seen. Nothing open with a promise, nothing changed beyond the view. But the light came through the window, and I was ready when it did. Before the alarm rang and waited for the usual sound, the crowded feeling in my chest was nowhere to be found. The room was pale and quiet, my shoes were resting by the bed. No list of was calling, no old conversation in my head. I woke up without the wait, without the need to hurry. The day was standing at the window, clear and ordinary. I let the curtains open wide and watched the branches move. Nothing asked me to be ready, there was nothing left to prove. Coffee to the doorstep, where rain had darkened every stone. A neighbor waved across the garden, then went quietly back home. A delivery truck passed slowly, birds lifted from the telephone line. I thought about the plans I'd canceled and felt no need to change my mind. Maybe rest had done its work while I was unaware, leaving space between my thoughts and morning waiting there. Into the daylight, no sudden change, no perfect answer, just everything a little lighter. I took the road beside the gardens with nowhere I had to be. The world kept moving at its own pace and left some room for me.
clock has moved beyond the hour I wrote down late last night. Coffee waits beside the window, losing warmth in quiet light. There are pages on the table and a list I haven't read, but the curtains breathe so gently I leave everything unsaid. I let the morning find me slowly, no need to meet it at the door. The day can cross the wooden floorboards before I ask it to be more. Rain is shining on the roadside, birds are lined along the wire. Someone's radio is playing from a kitchen down the mile. I put my jacket on and hurried, leave the dishes by the sink. The air outside feels cool and honest, giving every thought more room to think. Maybe nothing needs an answer in the first light of the day. Maybe time is not demanding, maybe I can choose my pace. Find me slowly, let the road decide the view. By the time the sunlight reaches me, I may know what I can do. I don't need a perfect beginning, just a little space to breathe. The day is waiting without asking for a faster version of me.